Two strikers, one decade. Only one of them can be the king of football's next era, and right now, the world cannot agree on who that's going to be. Erling Haaland became the quickest player to 100 Premier League goals, needing just 111 matches to reach that milestone. But here's where things get crazy. On the other side of this rivalry, Kylian Mbappe became the youngest player to reach 400 career goals since Pelé, hitting that number at 26 years and 328 days old. Two different paths, two different kinds of dominance. And tonight, we're breaking down exactly why this debate is tearing the football world apart. Subscribe to OH Goal and press the bell icon, because what you're about to hear changes everything you thought you knew about these two. Let's go back to the beginning. Haaland was raised in football, literally, the son of a former Premier League player, built from childhood to be a goal-scoring machine, not a playmaker, not a dribbler, just pure, relentless finishing. Mbappe, on the other hand, exploded out of Monaco as a teenage prodigy with searing speed, dribbling flair, and a flair for the spectacular that made him look like the heir to Cristiano Ronaldo himself. And here's the part most fans forget. These two have already been compared, tested, and measured against each other for years, long before this next decade debate even started. But the real story starts here, with their numbers. Haaland's rise at Borussia Dortmund was already terrifying. He scored a hat-trick on his Bundesliga debut, and by the time he left for Manchester City, he had found the net 86 times in just 89 appearances for the club. That's not a striker. That's a machine built with one single purpose. Meanwhile, Mbappe was rewriting French football history at Paris Saint-Germain and Monaco, eventually moving to Real Madrid, where he has now made 372 domestic appearances with 297 goals. Both of them arrived at the very top of European football as teenagers. Both of them were told they'd be the next face of the sport. And both of them delivered, but in completely different ways. What happened next shocked the football world. At Manchester City, Haaland didn't just join a great team, he broke it open. He has scored 172 goals in 207 appearances for Manchester City, a number that should be statistically impossible for any human being to sustain. And here's the detail almost nobody talks about. Those goals came from an expected goals figure of just 104.6. That means Haaland isn't just finishing chances, he's manufacturing goals that, on paper, shouldn't even exist. This is a player operating completely outside normal statistical models. But Mbappe's turning point came on a different stage entirely, the World Cup. At just 19 years old, in Russia 2018, he became the first teenager since Pelé himself to score in a World Cup final. 4 years later in Qatar, he scored a hat-trick in the final against Argentina, and still lost on penalties. That's the kind of heartbreak that builds legends or breaks them. Mbappe chose to build. And this is the part most fans never knew. Heading into the 2026 World Cup, Mbappe doing so he also surpassed just Fontaine's legendary record of 13 goals at a single World Cup, pushing his own tournament tally to 14. Now here's where the pressure really kicks in, because both of these players have lived under constant criticism despite being generational talents. Haaland has been accused of being one-dimensional, a poacher who can't dribble, can't build play, doesn't have the all-around game of a complete forward. Mbappe has faced doubts about his decision-making off the pitch, his move away from PSG, and whether he could ever truly replicate Cristiano Ronaldo's Real Madrid dominance. And this is exactly where the real comparison gets interesting, because in 2025, Mbappe scored 55 goals for Real Madrid in the calendar year, sitting just 5 behind Cristiano Ronaldo's all-time club record of 59 goals set back in 2013. Everything changed after that. Suddenly Mbappe wasn't just France's record scorer, he was being measured directly against Real Madrid's greatest icon. So let's talk about right now, because this isn't ancient history, this is happening in real time at the 2026 World Cup. Mbappe arrived at the tournament after scoring 42 goals in 44 matches for Real Madrid, and during France's qualifying campaign, he scored 5 goals in just 4 matches. Meanwhile, Haaland enters this World Cup as the most dangerous dark horse threat in the entire tournament. Norway sit as outsiders at around 26-1 odds, but with Haaland leading the line, no team wants to draw them in the knockout stages. In Norway's recent qualifying run, Haaland scored 18 goals across 9 tracked appearances, numbers that simply do not exist for a player at this level of competition. Here's the part that separates these two more than anything else, though. Mbappe has a World Cup winner's medal already, from 2018. Haaland has never even played in a World Cup before this tournament. His country failed to qualify for years despite him scoring at a record pace internationally. Haaland became Norway's all-time leading goal scorer at just 24 years old, overtaking a national record that had stood since 1937. Think about that for a second. A record that survived for almost 90 years, gone, broken by a Mbappe has scored 427 goals and assisted 173 more across 569 career appearances for club and country, winning 18 trophies along the way. Haaland, despite being younger and having played significantly fewer total matches, is scoring at a pace that statisticians describe as unsustainable for any other player in history, and yet he keeps sustaining it season after season. Manchester City have already extended his contract through to the summer of 2034, locking in what they clearly believe is over a decade of dominant, history-rewriting football. So who actually wins the next 10 years? Mbappe has the World Cup pedigree, the Ballon d'Or caliber resume, the speed and flair that turns matches in an instant, and now a Real Madrid legacy chasing Cristiano Ronaldo's own scoring records. Haaland has a finishing instinct that defies analytics, a body built like nothing the Premier League has ever seen, and a goal output so extreme that some experts believe he could end his career as the most efficient goal scorer the sport has ever produced. One of them redefines what a complete forward can be. The other redefines what's statistically possible for a human being on a football pitch. Here's the real question, and I want you to answer this in the comments right now. If you could build the perfect striker for the next decade of football, would you build Mbappe's all-around brilliance, or Haaland's relentless, ruthless finishing? Drop your answer below, because this debate isn't ending anytime soon. Subscribe to Yeah Goal and press the bell icon for more incredible football stories, facts, and legendary moments, because the next chapter of this rivalry is being written right now, at this very World Cup.